Good day, followers of Coolness. You are welcome to another edition of our class. Today we are making an half shoe in a lace of sandal and slippers. So this is the lace we are using to cut the pattern. As you can see, the way something is taped. So we are going to sketch out the pattern now, and as we do that, we urge you to stay in tune. You see as the pattern goes. So we are about sketching out the pattern. So I want to start from the back. So this is where I start my sketch from. I start my sketch from here, and I come here. I have the sketch as well. So it goes this way. It goes this way. Don't forget, as I always advise, that no matter what you do, the power of sketching must certainly be with someone who calls himself a professional shoemaker. You must have the power to sketch, and even if you can't give a proper sketch, certainly you must try to do something reasonable. So I think I'm done with this area. So I go next with this area. So as you can see, so it goes and it joins this side. So if you can see, this is the way the half shoe will look like. It has a covered back, or a back that is going to point out a bit, so while others will go into the insole. So what is the achievement of this half shoe? You certainly see as we move on the class. So stay in tune as we do other process. So next we do now is we can actually cut out this pattern and use to cut out leather. So this area, you look for the middle point of this lace, that is the middle point of the leg. So sometimes I always use a tape measure, but I don't want to use that now because the time frame for this work is just too short. So it's something that we need to do as fast as possible. That is why I'm doing things in this manner. So I have the middle point here. So that means this is when I cut out the pattern, this area will be separate and this area will also be separate. So after cutting out of the leather, this is the area to which they meet. This is the meeting point. So the next we do now is we cut out this pattern and we place it on the cardboard, and after that we place it on the leather and we cut out our leather for the proper work. Thank you. So I'm doing the cutout now. Certainly doing the cutout now. If you notice, you certainly see that I actually made a mistake because of the rush, and I've told us earlier in our previous classes that when you are doing the cutout of the pattern on the lace, you have to be very careful because of this skiving knife. It is something friendly, and at the same time it's something dangerous that can actually get one wounded. So you have to be very, very careful, extraordinarily careful when cutting out your pattern from the lace. As you can see, all this I'm removing their waste. All this I'm removing from the lace. They are waste. So the only one useful is this area. This is the area that is useful. This area will also go out. This area will also go out, and we cut it out as well. So I'm doing out the cut out of this area as well. Doing the cut out of this area, you have to be very careful, very careful, so that you won't get yourself wounded with a sharp blade of the scavenging knife. The sharp blade of the scavenging knife, you won't get yourself wounded. So I think I've got what I want to get here. So you remove this waste. So as a shoemaker, don't look at it that I don't have to waste some material. There are some things you have to waste. In order for you to get what you want. So don't be a miser in your work. Don't be a miser. You might be a miser to people, but to get your work done and to get your work look perfect, you don't need to be a miser to yourself. So because this is certainly going to give you what you want. So this is what we need. As you can see, this is what we need. And I do the separation of this. And at the same time the separation of this as well. So I have my pattern, so we'll place it on the cardboard now and we'll cut it out. So I have my pattern which I want to place on the cardboard or any form of paper you think will be useful to cut out or cut out your design. So I'm placing it on a gradual process. So you don't need to rush yourself. Do not rush yourself. So just because we need a perfect design. So what I do, as we see this area, so I cut it out on a gradual process as well, just for me to have a nice placement. So I have the placement of the pattern on the paper which I think I want to use to cut out the pattern. So next we observe here. If you are an observant, you certainly see that there are some budgings in the pattern that we place on the paper. So what we do now to give it the proper shape is that we are going to give it some spacing. We give it space out, like something like 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. It's not compulsory you make it 1.5 inches, not compulsory, but I always like having surplus leather inward than having a leather that will not be enough for me to do my folding when bringing out my work as the final placement. So I like having excess leather inward. I like excess leather inward. As you can see, I'm carving it out now, and these budgings that actually reduce the pattern, these have actually created space for those reduced area. So it has created space for the reduced area. So I do the carving. So we don't need to attach excess here. Just shape out this area, shape it out and let it meet at this spot. So we do the cutting out now. we do the cutting out. So that is the next thing we do. So that's the next thing we do. As you can see, so we have our pattern already. So we are good to go. So we are going to the leather straight away. So stay in tune as we move down to the leather area. So you can remove this out of what you have carved out. You can remove it, and some people might leave it just for reference purpose. So I've removed that. So I have this pattern already. So this can be kept in my archive. So next I do now is to cut it out from the leather. So I am actually carving out my pattern on the leather with my light pen. So I believe every one of us know what a light pen is. So in our previous classes, I've explained how the functionality of the light pen. In one of our classes. So this will certainly give us this on the leather. As you can see, we have the shape on the leather already. So next we cut it out, and we go to the next process. We cut it out and we go to the next process.